Welcome to Mind Shield. We protect the mind and pursue the truth. Let's get started.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're building a pretty powerful tool. It's a tool to make sure that when you speak, the people in charge actually have to listen. We're going to learn how to describe some pretty extreme experiences without sounding extreme yourself.
Think about it like this. Every time you try to explain what's happening, you're either giving someone a key to understand you and help, or you're accidentally building a door that locks them out. Our goal today? We're going to craft that key. So, here's our game plan. We'll start with the problem itself, that self-locking door, and then we'll walk step by step to a really clear, actionable method. This is all about taking back control of your own story.
Okay, first things first, we have to understand the lock. I mean, why is it that serious, credible complaints sometimes get dismissed right out of the gate? The problem, a lot of the time, isn't the evidence. It's the way it's all packaged. And this is the absolute core of the issue. Reporting that your laptop was remotely damaged, that's a credible fact. But claiming it was done by a secret mind control weapon from space, that's an unproven theory. When you mix the two together, you risk having the entire situation, the very real part, just thrown out. So how do we fix this? Well, what's really fascinating is that it all comes down to one simple but incredibly powerful distinction. Get this right, and it can completely change the game. This slide is everything. This is the single most important rule in action. You have to separate what you can prove from what you suspect. Look at the left side. Those are observable facts. I experience noises at 3 a.m. Anyone can investigate that. That's a solid foundation. But the right side, that's interpretation. They are using a device. Now, it might be true, but you can't prove it yet. When you lead with your interpretation, you're handing them that self-locking door. Okay, so to help us stick to just the facts, we need the right words. The Mind Shield project came up with this term, Covert Neuro-Sensory Intrusion, or CNSI. You can think of it as a neutral, professional umbrella term. It lets you accurately describe the effect, the weird stuff happening to your senses or your thoughts, without making any unproven claims about how it's happening or who's doing it. It just keeps the conversation grounded and credible. All right, let's get practical. Let's build on that idea. The 3-layer statement is the tool you're going to use for every single email, every report, every phone call. This is your blueprint. And it's so simple, but so powerful. Every communication you have should be built on these 3 layers. Facts, impact, request. That's it. What happened, what it did to you, and what you want done about it. It's clear, it's logical, and it gives them something they can actually work with. Now, for that first layer, the facts, you have to think like a detective building a case file. This isn't a story, it's a log. Every entry needs a date, a time, a location, and specific, observable details. This is your crime scene notebook. It's just a collection of verifiable data points. Okay, next up, layer 2. This is where you connect the dots. You take those facts and you show their real-world consequences. That noise at 3 a.m., its impact is severe sleep disruption that affects my ability to work. That damaged laptop, the impact is a financial cost and a specific safety concern. It's all about focusing on measurable harm. And finally, layer 3. This part is absolutely crucial. You have to state a clear, reasonable, and lawful next step. You're not asking them to solve the entire mystery. You're just giving them a single, manageable task. I want to file an official police report. Or, I request a referral to the cybercrimes unit. You make it easy for them to say yes to something. Okay, so we've got the structure. Now let's polish the language. This is how we level up from, what might sound like just an amateur complaint into a professional report that commands respect. This slide is so important. Look, the terms on the left, they're common, they come from real experiences, but to an official, they can be instant red flags loaded with interpretation. The terms on the right are neutral, they're professional. So instead of V2K, you report an anomalous auditory experience. You're not downplaying what's happening to you, you're just translating it into a language that opens doors. And this is how you build what we call credibility anchors. Consistency is your superpower here. You use the same neutral terms every time you talk to someone, you present the same clean timeline, you attach the same core evidence file. That consistency creates a pattern of professionalism that is really, really hard to just dismiss. All right, let's get into the specifics. You can't talk to a police officer the same way you talk to your doctor. Different institutions have different playbooks, they speak different languages, and they have different jobs. So we have to learn how to tailor our 3-layer statement for each one. For law enforcement, you have to focus on actions that already exist in the criminal code: stalking, harassment, threats, trespass. You provide your clean, factual log of these specific behaviors, and your request is direct. I need to file an official report for harassment. You're literally handing them a case file that fits right into their system. With doctors, the playbook shifts. The focus is now on the impact layer. You give them a log of your physical symptoms: headaches, ringing in the ears, skin irritation. Your request is for objective medical documentation. Can we run a hearing test, or I want to get these symptoms documented in my medical file? This creates another piece of official third-party evidence for your file. And for tech experts, well, you've got to speak their language: data. You give them network logs, screenshots of bizarre activity on your devices, precise timestamps of when things go wrong. Your request is for their professional validation. I need a third-party forensic analysis. Please help me preserve these logs. You're not asking them to believe a story. You're asking them to analyze data. Okay, let's put this all together and see the transformation happen in real time. We're going to take a raw emotional statement and rebuild it from the ground up into a professional, actionable report. So here's a first draft. It is filled with pain and fear, and that is completely understandable. But it's also filled with interpretations, beaming voices, psychotronic weapons, and loaded emotional language. And unfortunately, this is exactly the kind of statement that gets filed away and ignored. And now, look at this. It's the exact same situation, but we've run it through our 3-layer framework. We have facts, anomalous auditory phenomenon. We have impact, severe sleep disruption. And we have 2 clear, actionable requests. This report might seem boring, but you know what? Boring is professional. Boring is credible. Boring is what gets the door open. This is the key. So, you have the language. You have the key to unlock the door and get your foot inside. But what happens then? What do you do once you're in the room? That is exactly what we're going to explore next time: the evidence ladder, how to build your case, rung by rung, with credible, verifiable proof. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.